Texas is spending roughly $1.4 billion to transform one of San Antonio's busiest highways. When construction is complete, major sections of Loop 1604 will expand from only 4 main lanes to 10. The enormous interchange connecting it with Interstate 10 is also being rebuilt into a 5-level stack of concrete bridges and sweeping flyover ramps. It is one of the biggest highway expansions currently underway in the United States. And yet, there is one uncomfortable question hanging over the entire project. What happens when all 10 lanes fill with traffic again? Loop 1604 was not originally built to carry the enormous amount of development surrounding it today. The road forms a giant outer loop around San Antonio. Decades ago, much of its northern section ran through open land near the edge of the metropolitan area. But San Antonio kept growing. New subdivisions appeared beyond the highway. Shopping centers, offices, warehouses, schools, hospitals, and entertainment districts followed. Places like La Cantera and the neighborhoods surrounding Interstate 10 became major destinations of their own. What had once functioned like an outer bypass gradually became one of the busiest urban corridors in Texas. Drivers entering from rapidly growing suburbs were forced onto a highway that, in some places, provided only 2 main lanes in each direction. Every entrance ramp introduced another wave of vehicles. Every exit created another merging conflict. And when even one driver slowed down, the disruption could spread backward for miles. The old Cloverleaf interchange at Interstate 10 made the problem even worse. Cloverleaf interchanges allow vehicles to change highways without traffic lights, but they also force entering and exiting traffic to cross paths. A driver trying to enter the highway must merge into the same space being used by another driver trying to leave it. This creates weaving, and when traffic volumes become too high, that weaving can turn an interchange into a permanent bottleneck. Texas decided that a few minor improvements would no longer be enough. The Loop 1604 North expansion covers approximately 23 miles of highway across northern San Antonio. Major sections are being expanded from 4 main lanes to 10. That total includes 4 general-purpose lanes and 1 high-occupancy vehicle lane in each direction. Entrance ramps, exit ramps, auxiliary lanes, frontage roads, bridges, and intersections are also being reconstructed. But the most visually impressive part is the junction with Interstate 10. The old Cloverleaf is being replaced by an enormous 5-level interchange. Instead of squeezing through tight loops and weaving between other vehicles, drivers will use elevated direct connector ramps to move between the 2 highways. Some of these ramps rise high above the surrounding buildings. From the ground, the concrete columns look less like part of a road and more like the foundation of an unfinished city in the sky. The Interstate 10 interchange alone is expected to cost more than $460 million. And it is only one segment of the larger project. On paper, the expansion makes perfect sense. The existing corridor is overwhelmed. San Antonio is still growing. The old interchange creates unnecessary merging conflicts, and adding lanes will allow the highway to carry more vehicles. When a bottleneck is widened, traffic can initially move much faster. Trips become more predictable. Queues shrink. Drivers spend less time sitting behind brake lights. Modern ramps can also improve safety by giving vehicles more space to accelerate, merge, and change highways. So this project is not simply a case of Texas adding lanes for no reason. Loop 1604 genuinely needs major reconstruction. The problem begins after the construction ends. Imagine that a congested trip across northern San Antonio currently takes 45 minutes. After the expanded highway opens, that same trip might take only 30 minutes. Drivers notice. Some people who previously used a different route begin using Loop 1604. Others who avoided traveling during rush hour decide that they can leave at a more convenient time. Someone who previously rejected a distant job may now accept it because the commute appears manageable. Developers also notice. Land farther outside San Antonio becomes more valuable because the improved highway makes it easier to reach. More houses are built near the corridor. More stores open around its exits. More offices and warehouses appear on inexpensive land near the highway. Each development adds another group of vehicles. The road does not merely respond to growth. It helps determine where that growth occurs. This process is commonly known as induced demand. Increasing road capacity lowers the immediate cost of driving, especially the cost measured in time. That makes additional driving more attractive. Over time, the new trips consume part of the capacity that the expansion created. This does not mean that every highway expansion instantly fails, and it does not mean that adding a lane can never improve a specific bottleneck. The important distinction is between increasing capacity and permanently eliminating congestion. A wider highway can carry more vehicles. That is a real benefit. But if development patterns continue producing more and longer car trips, the highway may eventually become congested at a much larger scale. Instead of 4 crowded lanes, San Antonio could eventually have 10 crowded lanes. And because the expanded road encourages additional development around it, widening it again becomes even more expensive. Bridges are built for the new width. Interchanges are designed around it. Businesses move close to the frontage roads. Neighborhoods spread farther into the surrounding land. The entire region becomes more dependent on the highway. That leaves San Antonio with a difficult choice. The city cannot simply ignore the traffic already using Loop 1604. But it also cannot widen its way out of every future traffic jam. A more durable strategy would treat the expansion as one part of a larger transportation system. Express buses could use the corridor's new high-occupancy lanes. Park-and-ride facilities could allow suburban commuters to complete part of their trips without driving directly into major employment centers. New streets running parallel to the highway could keep short local trips away from the main lanes. Better connections between nearby neighborhoods and commercial areas could prevent someone from entering a freeway simply to reach a destination 1 mile away. And future development could be concentrated around several connected centers instead of stretching continuously along highway exits. None of these solutions would eliminate driving. San Antonio is a large, spread-out metropolitan area, and cars will remain essential for many trips. The goal is not to force every driver off the highway. The goal is to prevent every new home, job, store, and restaurant from generating another mandatory highway trip. Loop 1604 may genuinely become safer, faster, and easier to navigate when the expansion is complete. The 5-level interchange will remove outdated loops and reduce some of the corridor's worst weaving movements. The additional lanes will carry more traffic than the old highway ever could. For drivers who have endured years of construction, the finished project may feel like an enormous improvement. But its scale also reveals the trap facing rapidly growing American cities. Every major highway expansion makes distant development easier. That development creates more driving, and eventually, the road built to escape congestion can become the reason even more traffic exists. 10 lanes may buy San Antonio time. The real question is what the city does with it.